This video will show you how to make a very basic Visual Studio application and then save it and submit it. We're going to choose a Windows Forms application. It's going to be able to be found in the Visual Basic group. When you click on that, you'll see a name for the project here and the default save location. You can change those by clicking on the Browse button if you want to, or just leave them where they are. Once you've created it, never do Save As. Always move the entire project folder. You see there's also a Windows Forms application in the C# group. You can do either one. It's going to work the same way after this. You'd want to give your project a useful, meaningful name to help you identify what it is in the future. But for now, I'll just leave this one with the default name. Trying to rename your projects can be tricky as well, so don't mess around with that. Once it gets created, you should have a view like this. If you don't see a view like this with the Solution Explorer on the right, you can reset that through the Tools menu. Import, Export Settings, it says. I want to change the text of this form so it doesn't say Form 1. I want it to say something meaningful and user-friendly, like Hello World. I click on the toolbox over here on the left. The little thumbtack will keep that in place. Double-clicking on items in the toolbox will add them to the form. Double-clicking on the button on the form creates an event handler, and this is where you would put code. Any code in here is going to happen when that button gets clicked. The only code I want to happen for this little demo program is just to change the text in the label to say hello, and I will run that by clicking on Start. And if all goes well, it will say hello. I always recommend doing one little thing at a time, making sure it works, and then adding. Alright, so that does work. We can stop it. And to get to the file that was created, Visual Studio Project is actually several files and folders. You can right-click on the solution and go to Open File in File Explorer, or whatever that says. And that shows you in the address bar the default save location. You could also navigate to that just by going through Computer or whatever, but that's a quick way to get to it. Make sure you saved all in Visual Studio. It saves by default whenever you run it, so we're good to go. Clicking on the Projects folder takes us up one level, and we see that project folder. We need everything in that project folder, so I'm going to right-click, Send to Compressed Zipped File, and everything's in this one file now, and that is what you would submit, is that one zip file, or move it to a flash drive or whatever.